Alright, back into custom packs for the first time since the update. It's still pretty scary. But here I actually make a mistake with the shrimp. I should buy it first before I start doing the selling. Now, this game I was specifically looking for Wasp on turn 3, and I had so many initial starts where I would get to turn 3, have 2 or 3 level ups, and it would just give me Hatching Chick over and over and over again, which in many circumstances is pretty good, but for my purposes I needed to get Wasps, and I was hoping for multiple Wasps as early as possible. And the reason I wanted to do a Wasp game, one of the least bought pets, because it's not really that great, but also there are quite a few changed pets that scale health. And I felt like it would be a good way to try and demonstrate that is to have a bunch of Wasps scaling their attack and then have some other pets that were going to refill their health to compensate. The problem with that is, I mean, I mentioned it already, Wasp isn't that good. You really need to get it on board very quickly because you're on a timer. By turn 11, its ability will no longer work. So although it can scale attack very quickly, it's also just going to suddenly stop. And here I'm getting a huge amount of health onto the main Wasp, but I'm hoping for another one. And with this Stoat Cell, I'm actually going to get lucky and get the Wasp that I'm looking for. Unfortunately as a 1-1, but we can buy the fried shrimp to give it a head start on the attack scaling. I did actually have one game where I pilled a level 2 spider and got a level 2 Wasp, and I thought that was going to be the one, but unfortunately no. This team was a bit odd. They had their level 2 hedgehog in 4th position there, so they ended up fainting their own backline unit. But we'll take the draw anyway. In so many of the runs I was getting to this stage with 0 wins, and I was just getting matched with the same opponents. At least we have 1 win in the tank here. And shrimp is just really good. The fact that you don't need specific units, you can just sell anything. This team kind of weak, which is fine because I'm not particularly strong either. But one big unit can often get the job done. So here it's 1 turn late. What I really wanted was to have 3 Wasps turn 5 and 6 and then be able to buy lettuce, which would automatically buff all 3 of them. But now it's turn 7, it's too late. Here I was thinking about selling the shrimp so to guarantee that the beaver hits the Wasps. And you can see there one of the attack goes to waste. I probably should have just bought the pelican there, but I was trying to commit to the buy selling as much as possible. But I think the shrimp is done next turn. I'm going to move on, look for other things. Another really strange team where they've got a big turtle, but the units that the turtle is giving the melon to are awful. Not sure what's going on there. So I think here I'm going to buy sell the crow just to get one last buff from the shrimp, or maybe I'm going to do the beaver as well. Yeah, okay. We'll sell the... Okay, I'm going to actually go for the level up on one of the Wasps so that by turn 11, it won't work next turn, but turn 11 it'll be able to double up the amount of attack it gets. Thankfully, another team that is kind of wide-scaled and our one big unit takes care of it. They do have the Stingray, which I feel like is going to become ubiquitous in custom packs, as it already is in pack 2. So this shrimp is gone. We're going to sell the buy sell some beavers, and there is the moose. So I think moose has been in this weekly, so there's been a bunch of videos related to it. I did try and get 5 moose in the weekly and failed miserably, but now we want to freeze as many tier 1s as possible, and the moose is going to start filling up the health on our Wasps. Although I guess the front one is already kind of pretty healthy. Another relatively weak team with 1 big unit, but it's a moth, so it's... No, we actually almost lost to them anyway. And here, yeah, we get the level up. So next turn, it's our last chance for some Wasp scaling. Unfortunately, the 3rd Wasp stats are pretty bad. You can see here, I'm not sure the order of activation here, because I was hoping that the toy would activate first and then the Wasp would double its own attack. However, you'll see next turn actually that's not the case, and it's the Wasp that goes first. I'm not sure why that is, because I think in battle the toys go first, regardless of the start of battle abilities, but maybe they anticipated that kind of interaction beforehand. Unfortunately, you know, skunk is what you don't want to see when you have one huge unit, and thankfully there we actually drew anyway. And we get, yeah, you can see the Wasp activates first, and then we get the flashlight buff. But now I think I'm going to switch to using the sock. We don't have any in-battle abilities. We're on turn 11, we're not going to get any more scaling from the Wasps. So I would much rather have something that's, you know, going to do damage to the opposing team. I don't know why I'm freezing up the chocolate there, because I can't actually do anything about it. The moose is going to unfreeze it, and I definitely shouldn't have the 2/2 Wasp at the back. I should have just combined them, because it could have leached some of the buffs there. Thankfully the sock reduces their buffalo down in range. Otherwise I'm not sure if that might have been a loss there. I feel like every time I've bought pepper since the update, I've been hit by either scorpion or the peanut jar from the mongoose. But it's kind of necessary, you know. You want your wasp to survive if there are snipers on board on the opposing team, which is a very common scenario. I'm going to freeze the mongoose. Although I shouldn't actually bother, because I need spaces for tier 1s, and the moose is going to unfreeze the shop, so I can't use the mongoose. Yeah, you'd think I would be used to it by now. However, they have actually changed the moose slightly, so if there are no tier 1s in the shop, it won't unfreeze. But honestly, for the change in the ability, it's not really much of a buff. Unfortunately, you know, we're just going to automatically lose to summons here. So I feel like summons were already incredible, and I would imagine they're probably going to be even better now that the old version of Lemon is gone. But even with the old version of Lemon, they were still unbelievably good. I'm not sure why I froze the pill here, because I don't have a scaling toy on board. I just have the sock, and I think I'm going to freeze both raptors here. Yeah, much better than having the moose. Although I was trying to do a video based on it filling health up. Of course, the Wasp is at 50-50 now anyway, so the moose's effectiveness is pretty limited. And I'm going to take the coconut. That's also why I have mongoose in the pack, because I want to be able to activate the coconut toy, and it's so strong when you have coconut on the front unit. Of course, lionfish has been changed completely, so you're no longer worried about opposing lionfish removing the equipment from the front unit. That's not entirely true, of course, because they did add they moved the lionfish ability to be the toilet paper effect for the puppy's second toy. So you can still have a weakness applied at the beginning of the battle, but I guess since it's a toy effect, it's much less likely than if you know, someone just dropping a lionfish into their team. Maybe that'll change as time goes on, and people will just realize that it's so good to weaken the opposing front line that you should just keep puppy or flying squirrel for the whole game. But at the moment, I haven't run into it that frequently. So here I'm going to replace the foam sword with the mongoose and take the palm tree. That will give the coconut, and we don't need the raptor anymore. And if I put the second puma in, we're actually going to get 3 coconuts from the level 1 toy. And that means that the pepper will... actually, I think the toy always goes before the start of battle abilities. So it's not like the pepper would actually protect from a leopard snipe. I could be wrong. I was told that the toy goes first. But sometimes the order of activation in this game always seems a little bit dodgy. So I think here I'm just going to give pepper to the puma, make sure it can survive. I leveled up the wasp just to get another tier 6 reveal. We freeze another puma and mongoose for next turn in case we win or draw. We actually get matched with level 3 rhino, level 3 wolverine, which that's a pretty interesting team. And amazingly, we're actually going to beat the T-Rex team on the basis of the triple coconut. So not quite the build I was going for, but hopefully that kind of give you an idea of a potential way to use Wasp in the future.